powered by Riverside.
Good evening, good evening, good evening on a late Sunday evening. I know if you're watching this, you're probably like, wow, there is two of him. A Sunday night edition of the live stream. And we have some breaking news. So we're not going to waste time. And not only are we going to give you this breaking news, we're going to look at some more college basketball reports. I will be back to doing my high school recap probably tomorrow. I have a little bit more time on my hand. Tried to do one over the weekend. Things just didn't pan out the way I wanted to. So we're going to do that for you as well too. Look back at this past weekend's games of high school basketball. But today's news coming out of Manhattan, Kansas. Kansas State fires men's basketball coach Jerome Tang, and the Wildcats are attempting to fire Tang for cause after comments he made Wednesday night. And he's set to contest the school's reasoning. So Jerome Tang's time at Kansas State is over. No more. Of course, you've seen the writing on the walls when the fans showed up with bags over their head. And I'm old school. I can remember those days when fan bases would come to football stadiums with bags over their head because their program was that bad. But Kansas State fired Jerome Tang on Sunday following the Wildcats' latest loss. Kansas State, or KSU, fell to 1-11 in the Big 12 with a 78-64 loss to Houston. It was the sixth straight defeat for Kansas State and came a game after Tang said he was embarrassed for the university when criticizing his team following a 91-62 home loss to Cincinnati. Kansas State went 71-57 in Tang's time with the school. His buyout for a firing without cause is $18 million. But Kansas State is attempting to fire Tang for cause, according to the Manhattan Mercury and other reports. The cause, those comments after the loss to the Bearcats for allegedly disparaging the university. By firing Tang for cause, Kansas State can say it isn't obligated to pay him his buyout. Tang would have the ability to challenge Kansas State's basis in court if he so chooses, and it appears he will do so. He told ESPN that he plans to contest Kansas State's reasoning. He says, I'm deeply disappointed with the university's decision and strongly disagree with the characterization of my termination, Tang told ESPN. I've always acted with integrity and faithfully fulfilled my responsibilities as head coach. Tang's best season at Kansas State came in his first year with the school. The Wildcats went 26-10 in 22-23 and made it to the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament before losing to Florida Atlantic. It was the only time KSU would make the tournament in Tang's tenure. KSU went 19-15 the next season and then fell to 16-17 in 2024-25. This season, the Wildcats are just 10-15 despite signing PJ Haggerty from Memphis out of the transfer portal. Haggerty's averaging 23.3 points per game and shooting 48% from the field, but Kansas State's defense has been abysmal to say the least. Kansas State is averaging 80.2 points per game, but giving up 80.7 points per game. Just 28 teams are allowing more points per game than Kansas State this season. That Cincinnati game appeared to be the tipping point for many Kansas State fans as students wore paper bags over their heads during the game. In his post-game news conference, Tang said the game was embarrassing and that these dudes did not deserve to wear this uniform. There will be very few in it next year. He said there will be very few in it next year. Well, one thing we know is he won't be around to find out about what few will be in those uniforms next year because he won't be around. Kansas State colors next season. That's what he said. He then went on to say the team had practice at 6 a.m. the next day and he had no answers and no words. Tang came to K State from Baylor. He was the Bears' associate head coach under Scott Drew from 2017 to 2022 and was on the staff when the Bears won the 2001 national title. Before he was the team's associate head coach, Tang was an assistant with the team since 2003 after coaching high school basketball in Texas. So it'd be interesting after he goes through all these court processes, challenging the firing for cause, his integrity and faithfulness is on the line. We will keep you abreast of that story as there were some names that were floated around, some of which I know there's no way Kansas State can get these guys. First name I heard, Brad Underwood. I'll say it like this. When you had the chance to get him, you didn't get him. And I think he's doing fine where he's at. The name Bob Huggins even came up. Now think about that. Anyway, some more college news. The Big East suspends Providence's Duncan Powell 2 extra games after sparking a massive fight versus St. John's. Providence forward Duncan Powell has been suspended for 3 games after his role in the massive fight during the Friars' loss to St. John's on Saturday. Powell, the Big East said on Sunday, engaged in additional combative actions during the fight. As a result, the conference hit him with a 2 game suspension in addition to the automatic 1 game suspension for fighting mandated by the NCAA. Powell was the only player involved in the incident to be assessed additional penalties. He will now miss games against DePaul, Xavier, and Creighton and will be eligible to return March 4 against Marquette. Powell was assessed a flagrant 2 foul after he drilled Bryce Hopkins from behind as Hopkins was going up for a layup early in the second half at Amica Mutual Pavilion on Saturday. That sparked a massive fight that resulted in 6 of the game's 7 ejections. At one point, Powell even tried to swing on St. John's forward Dylan Mitchell, though Mitchell ducked just in time. The 7th ejection came later in the second half after Providence Jameer Jones was assessed a flagrant 2. In total, Jones, Powell, and Jalen Sellers were ejected for Providence. Mitchell, Kelvin, Odie, Ruben Prey, and Sadiko Ibane Ayo were rejected for St. John's. The win for St. John's pushed the Red Storm to 20-5 on the season. It has now won 11 straight, entering Wednesday's contest at Marquette. Powell has averaged 4.9 points and 3.1 rebounds per game this season. At Providence, the Friars fell to 11-15 after the loss, which has them 9th in the Big East standings. So there you have some breaking news on a coach getting fired, and you also have news on some suspensions coming out of the Big East. That is all I have for you, but I want you to know that today's show,
Powered by Riverside FM.
that's right, powered by Riverside FM. Until the next time, take care of yourself and each other. We will do our best to be back with you tomorrow to give you the full high school recap. Take care. I'm out.